The pros and cons of working in the UK. A lot of people have asked me this question. Let's talk about the cons first, because quite a lot of cons at the moment, and then we can speak about the pros. Con number one is living in the UK is getting more and more expensive at the moment because of inflation. Some people are struggling, obviously, with the high cost of living. If you're coming to the UK, maybe think again, because at the moment prices are very, very high, and it's actually, I'm not really sure whether it's worth it at the moment with the high prices. Unless you're already here, then might as well. Second con is working in the UK. It depends if you're working in the hospital versus working in the GP. So working in the hospital, you will always be under the bureaucratic management of the hospital. So sometimes it is quite difficult to, get annual leave, study leave. Obviously, you have to arrange for your own replacement if you can't do the on-call, if you want holiday during that time. And sometimes even if you ask for the time off in advance, they always say wait for the rota, and then you have to arrange yourself. So that's quite tricky. Now in the GP, it's much easier. I quite like GP. Obviously, there's a lot of routes to go through with the financial. So once you've qualified GP, then you can go anywhere really. That's maybe a pro actually. Another con is racism. Yes, racism exists everywhere. I mean, in Malaysia, racism is, it's there as well. You can get racism from where you work, from patients as well. Now, not as like upfront, I would think. Incidences that I get like racism upfront is not very frequent, but you can get like subtle racism or institutional racism. Now, this is the thing that happens, but people don't talk about it because in fear of, we might get punished for it, or kind of, consequences basically, especially when job is quite important for us. It is one of the con. Unfortunately, you can't run away from it. You will face it every day. But let's go with the pros. So pros is you're earning in sterling, in pounds. The money itself is quite high. I'm comparing it with my own country, so definitely you're earning more for the hours that you work. Second pro is it carries quite high value, and it is mostly recognized in other countries. For example, if you are doing GP, then you can go into GP in Australia or New Zealand, and they quite like UK graduates from specialty training here. Obviously, you have to suffer for a few years to do the training, but it is worth it. Another pro is obviously, children will get good quality of education. Here, education is free. I like that my children are all, confident. I think it's just the way how they teach here. So they are mostly confident. They like to ask questions. Well, I quite like, the school system here. I mean, I'm just talking about the primary school, because high school is a different matter. So fourth pro is here, like everybody is equal. As long as you do the work, you will easily go up the ladder of the medical and go up in the salary. It will go up automatically if you are in training. So they do reward that, and I feel that's very, very good. And the system that they use is very objective. So there's no like political in the system of going up the ladder in your career. Once you finish, I guess when you're applying for new jobs or something like that, you might have to compete with other trainees. But when we're applying in a job, competing with other trainees, they use an objective system. So it means that everybody's fairly assessed, and they mostly anonymize, and I like that. I think that's the thing that I like the most, because I know in some countries they have favoritism. You have to be close with someone to get up through the ladders. Now, if you want to see how much I make in my 7th year of working in the NHS, and I will link it here.